Good morning, everybody. It is July 18th, and we are live here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group Securities offered by MoneyBlock. And this is where we take a look at everything that happened in Asia. And it was a mixed action overnight in the Asian region. And this is something we want to keep an eye on. China has had some decent results that have been moving not only crude markets, steel markets, but they're also starting to move equity markets. Also, we're seeing Japan get a little bit more volatile than it has been over the last few sessions. And really what I want to start off with is taking a look at the pair of the US dollar and the Japanese yen. We talk about watching currencies. Why? Well, their local currency is going to impact their ability or their buying power. And the Japanese yen had been weak up until the last week and a half or so. We saw that the dollar weakness had given some strength to the yen, and now you see that the Japanese markets have continued to be under pressure. As a matter of fact, taking a look at the Nikkei, finished down almost 0.6%. Now it's down below its 20-day moving average. This is something that you have to watch. For those of you that have exposure to Asia, either through an ETF like EEM, which is an emerging markets ETF, or you're trading EWJ. This move today for Japan now puts it in a battle zone. Let's see how the ETF that trades here in the States, EWJ, trades. It's actually trading up about 2 cents pre-market, but it's right at that 20-day moving average at 53.54 on the stock. Stock's trading at 53.58. Now taking a look, and also what's notable, there is a bit of concern by the Bank of Japan. The fact of the matter is that the bank owns about 71% of all shares of ETFs that are traded in Japan. That is difficult to ascertain. That would be like of all the ETFs that trade here in the United States, that our government would own 70% of them. That could be a potential recipe for a lot of things. But the point being is that they're concerned about the fact that they have too much ownership in the markets. And we saw that headline come out from Bloomberg overnight. That's put some scrutiny on the report that's going to be coming out from the Bank of Japan on Thursday. So that will be something that we will be able to see in Wednesday's trade. Let's watch that one very closely, or Thursday morning's trade. Now, taking a look at China and the Shanghai Composite. Interesting action here. Got above its 20-day moving average. It battled at its 50-day, and now we have the bulls clearly in control, back in control in the Shanghai Composite. China, PBOC, the People's Bank of China, came out and said, hey, our policy stance is going to be prudent and neutral. They've been saying this for quite a long time. You're starting to see that the market is actually agreeing with this. There's been a grind for basically the last month and a half to the upside. Anybody trading FXI, you could see that there was a pretty explosive move in the large cap ETF that tracks Chinese large cap companies, and there's about 30 of them in it. This ETF is trading actually down 19 cents this morning, but well above its 20-day moving average. Keep an eye on China. I want to watch that one closely. Taking a look at Hong Kong, getting off the mainland. Hong Kong, really what was notable over this session was big Apple supplier AAC Technologies, up 6.8%. Now, Apple has been moving to the upside. The techs have been moving back up to the upside, and we're in the heat of earnings. So this one has been putting up some impressive numbers. AAC Technologies, supplier to Apple. Also, you're starting to see property and financial names really starting to buck the trend in Hong Kong. Let's see if that cyclical shift back into off of the mainland is going to continue. EWH is an ETF you can watch. It's actually trading flat this morning at 23.77. That trades here in the United States. And then India's Sensex. Now, what was interesting is that overnight we saw that the Indian Sensex was down 1.13%. That's good for about 363 points. Probably the most notable headline was that they were levying what they call cease, which is basically just a tax or levy on cigarettes. It's one of the largest multi-faceted companies, ITC, which was the old Imperial Tobacco Company. It was basically founded in 1910. They have a pretty diversified portfolio of different companies they own. But that levy, that tax, or what they call a CESS, that's from the old days of when the British were holding it as one of the countries under their thumbprint back in the day. But that is had the stock down, ITC down 12%. Taxes, boy, I tell you, people don't like them. And you can see the Indian markets reacted down big. And above, though, that 31,513 level, a couple hundred points away from its 20-day moving average. But that's a pretty big pullback in a one day after we've seen just nothing but basically a grind for the last year and a half to 2 years. Watch EPI this morning on the open. It's only down a penny at 25.88. This is a pretty diverse ETF that carries stocks in India. Let's see how that reacts on the overnight news. But right now, looking poised just to open down a penny. Markets are firming up. All right, folks, that's it for the overnight action report. Join me. I'm going to take a look at everything in Europe at around 8 o'clock Central Time. That'll be 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So we'll see you then.